Hey everybody, Robert Preston Jr. here, live with DouglasNow.com. Tonight, the Coffee Trojans played the Taravella Trojans from the Miami area in the fourth game of the football season. The Coffee Trojans won 56-0. If you remember, for those fans who pay attention to these sorts of things, Coffee also played Taravella last year. Now, Taravella's from the Miami, Florida area. They're from way down in South Florida. I think Google Maps shows it at about a 6 hour and 23-minute trip from down there to up here, but you're not making it in 6 hours and 23 minutes on a bus, a school bus. I think they brought one of the big charter buses up here. It doesn't matter what you bring in something that big, you're not making it in 6 hours and 23 minutes. It's closer to an 8-hour trip. So Coffee was able to convince Taravella to come up here last year, where we proved to not be very gracious hosts, beat them 54-6. This year was more of the same. They were supposed to be a little bit better than they were last year. They were really young, had a lot of those same kids coming back, and of course they got some athletes down there in the South Florida area. Miami is a hotbed of high school football with some really great players spread throughout that South Florida area. However, it was more of the same. We won 56-0 tonight. That comes on the heels of a 21-7 win over Ware last week, and then you go the week before. Coffee, this year's Trojans set the single game scoring record by hanging 64 points on the Salem Seminoles. So we've already had a 64-point game this year, and then we had a 56-point game. And I think if you go and look, you go back through the records, and I've done this, but I didn't write it down and keep everything, make perfect notes with it, but just eyeballing the scoring, because I went back after the Salem game and looked to see if we had scored that many points before in a game, and we hadn't. The previous record was 60 points, which was under head coach Jerry Odom. We hung 60 on the Johnson Adams Smashers. I believe maybe his second year here, Coach Odom's second year here. But in going back and looking at that, I believe this is an accurate statement that Coach Pruitt has more games where we've scored 50 or more points than any other coach that we've had. Most of our history, we haven't scored a whole lot of points. I say, 30, 40 points at the most, but Coach Pruitt, I think one year I remember, and it may have been 2 years ago when we played for the state championship, that we had about 5 or 6 games where we scored over 50 points, including 2 in the playoffs. So this is this is something that has happened quite a bit in the Robbie Pruitt area. But once again, the Trojans win tonight, 56-0, and are 4-0 on the season. Let's go through a few of the game highlights. First of all, Coffee never punted. It was almost a flawless game. Of course, football coaches are always going to find a problem with every performance. And the one thing that Coach Pruitt mentioned was maybe we had too many penalties. And of course, if you have one penalty, you have too many penalties. Penalties are always avoidable. Penalties always cause problems for the team that gets penalized. And that was Coach Pruitt's big knock after the game, was that we may have had too many penalties. Interestingly enough, Zay Simpson started at quarterback. A.J. Wilkerson did not start tonight. Zay Simpson started. We also got some playing time for Justin Swords, who was the third string quarterback, and Swords is going to be a good one. Swords is going to be a really good one. He had to play the game tonight. We'll get to that in just a second, but we got good production out of all 3 of our quarterbacks. So let's go through the scoring summary here. Again, we scored 56 points, a lot of touchdowns, scored on every possession, I believe. Had a running clock in the second half, which limits the amount of times you're going to get the ball. But again, we scored when we had the opportunities. We also won the turnover battle tonight. We intercepted one pass. We'll give you a few details about that in a minute. But we intercepted a pass, which also set up a touchdown. So if you can win the turnover battle, you're always going to have a leg up on your competition. And if you can take your turnovers and have them end up with points being scored, any points, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, then you really are in good shape. So you've got to force turnovers, and when you do, you need to make those turnovers hurt. So let's go through the score and summary. First drive of the night, great drive downfield. We finished up with a 6-yard touchdown run by Josiah Killebrew, put us up 7-0. Next possession, Maurice Turner broke loose for a 46-yard touchdown run to go up 14-0. Here's where the turnover took place. Travaris Jackson intercepted a Taravella pass, and that ended up leading to a Jalen Suggs touchdown on a double reverse. Now, we did this last week against Ware, except when we ran the double reverse, we threw the ball instead of the guy. I don't remember who it was who ended up with the ball on the double reverse, but he flipped it back to Wilkerson, who went downfield, maybe to KJ Davis, and overthrew him just a little bit. Tonight, we ran a very similar play, but Suggs kept it on the double reverse, scored a touchdown, put us up 21-0. Josiah Killebrew scored his second touchdown of the night on the next possession on a 1-yard run, again using Killebrew down, not just inside the red zone, but really inside the 5-yard line or so, 5, 6, 7-yard line, inside the 10, I guess would be a better way to put that. And Josiah, 265, 270 pounds, packs a pretty big punch and makes it hurt, and you're really not stopping him on the goal line. He got in on a 1-yard run, put the Coffee up 28-0. Antonio Dawson got in on the barrage next and scored to go up 35-0. A.J. Wilkerson did get in the game, of course. He's not going to sit out the whole game, but Wilkerson connected to Jamal Polk on a nice catch and score for to go up 42-0, and that's where the first half ended, with Coffee up 42-0. So when you got that big of a lead, you get into the second half, there's going to be a running clock, and that's what happened here tonight. A.J. Franklin scored on a 1-yard TD run right after the second half opened on Coffee's first possession. Taravella got the ball to open the second half. Then, of course, they punted. We got the ball back, and Franklin scored on a 1-yard run to go up 49-0. The final touchdown of the night came late in the game. Justin Swords was in. He connected with Franklin again for a long touchdown pass to go up 56-0. The Broadcast South radio crew deemed that play the play of the game of the night. So I would have either given it to that or to Travaris Jackson for the interception. Again, when you take the ball, force a turnover, and then use that turnover to convert it to points. That's pretty strong when you're scoring on all sides of the ball. Never had the opportunity to kick a field goal tonight. Special teams, however, was perfect on extra points. Noah Saylor, once again, has been lights out on extra points. I don't think he's missed one all year long, and I'm telling you, our kicking game has been a little touch and go over the last few years, even with extra points. We haven't had a lot of luck. There's a lot of reasons why this stuff happens. I'm not necessarily blaming kickers, but we've got a good team. Justin Swords does the holding for Saylor, and he's been lights out. Saylor's been lights out. He's kicking the ball really well. He did miss a 43-yard field goal earlier this year, but he certainly has the leg to make those. And let's face it, particularly in our area, there's not going to be a lot of high school kickers who are going to make a 43-yard field goal regularly. But Saylor can do it, and he will do it, and it's nice to have a little bit of confidence in our kicking game. So again, we've had some odd scores over the last few years because we haven't always made our extra points, and then we have to go for 2, and then we miss those, and we don't try a lot of field goals, and it's just been kind of a mess. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a very skilled football analyst, but I can tell you this, that you have to be able to convert in every aspect of the game, and you can get by with missing extra points and missing 2-point conversions and not getting touchbacks and things like that during the regular season. But when you get in the playoffs, you've got to be strong. In order to make a deep run, you have got to be strong in all facets of the game. You've got to be good on special teams. You've got to be good on offense. Your defense has to not only be able to score points, but has to score points as well. Your defense has to force some turnovers and, again, has to get some points one way or the other. And our kicking game has been iffy the last few years. We've had some moments when it's been good, and we've had some moments when it's been a little disturbing. So it looks like we may be shoring up our kicking game here for the here for this season. I tell you what, you got a young football player trying to figure out a good position. Go ahead and start sending them to kicking camps. Go ahead and send them to kicking camps. Not a lot of wear and tear on kickers, and they don't always get the headlines. They're expected to make the extra points. They're expected to make the field goals, but if they miss, and if they miss at a key moment, it hurts, and it hurts bad. You got to be a little bit of a masochist, I think, to be a kicker, because you get out there with the game on the line. Sometimes, you look around and think, gee, coach, thanks for putting me in this situation. We're down by 2 in the fourth quarter with 2 seconds left, and I've got to hit a 55-yard field goal to win the game. Come on. I mean, what are the odds of that happening? So, you put your kid in some crazy situations when he's a kicker, but extremely important. Extremely important. You're not going to win a state championship. You're not going to make a deep playoff run if you don't have a solid kicking game. So it's nice to see that coming back. We've had some good kickers over the years. It's nice to see us getting back to that, to a nice level of confidence when it comes to our special teams. Next week, we play Miller Grove. It is our homecoming matchup. Hard to believe that here we are still in September, and I guess next week will be the 3rd week of September, but still it just doesn't feel like it's late enough to be having homecoming. But here it is. Again, the Trojans 4-0 on the season. Next week, homecoming game against Miller Grove. That will be at Jardine Stadium at 7:30 kickoff. And, of course, during halftime, they'll name the homecoming princess and princesses and the homecoming queen. Then the following week, or the next game, I'll have to see when our open week is. It seems like our open week is the 27th, but I'm not sure. I have to go back and look at that. I don't have a schedule in front of me right now. But we will play, I can't remember the name of the school, but it's a school out of Tallahassee, Florida, that we've never played before. That's a really good team. Taravella is a larger school down in Miami. It should be better than it is. Didn't have any problems with them tonight, but that school out of Tallahassee could very well give us some problems. And then after that, we're going to get into the region schedule, so it's going to be a very, very difficult ride next week. Miller Grove probably won't give us a lot of problems, at least that's the plan. And then after that, it's going to get significantly tougher. We're going to finish up the non-region schedule with a really, really tough game. Then, of course, we're going to get into the region schedule. I've got a program right here, and the program should have the schedule. I want to say maybe the open week has changed from what I saw earlier. We got it right here. So September 13th against Taravella, that was tonight. September 27th, Miller Grove at 7:30. Yes, the open week is on the 27th. Okay, I think on the original schedule that came out, we were going to play Chamblee on the 27th, and then we were going to have October the 4th open. But the way it is now, Chamblee was unable to come down here and play us, so we scheduled Godby High School out of Tallahassee. We will play them on October the 4th. So homecoming, Miller Grove, next week, 7:30. Then we have an open week. Then we play Godby again at home, another 7:30 kickoff. That's Friday, October 4th. Friday, October 11th, Northside Warner Robins at home. October 18th, Valdosta at home. Again, all these games are 7:30 kickoffs. Then we will play Houston County on the road and finish up November the 8th with Lee County on the road. So that's the rest of our schedule for the 2019 season. Then we shall see what will happen in the postseason. And hopefully we will be one of the top 4 teams left standing, and we will get into the postseason and make another solid run. But it's going to be tough. Valdosta's tough. Valdosta is really tough this year. It looks like Houston County is going to be tough. And then, of course, Northside Warner Robins is going to be tough, and Lee County is going to be tough. Now, both of those schools have lost already this year to Peach County, 3A Peach County. But Peach County is loaded, and that may not necessarily be a good indication of how weak people think that Lee and Northside will be this year. I guarantee when we get into the region schedule and there's a playoff berth on the line, those two schools are going to step up and play extremely well. But right now, the Trojans are doing very well in the driver's seat, undefeated, 4-0. Great game tonight, 56-0, almost flawless. We'll see what happens the rest of the year. Next week, the 20th of September, we will face Miller Grove at homecoming. Jordan Stadium, 7:30 kickoff. Be there, hang around for the homecoming festivities. It's a great group of kids to watch, a lot of fun. They're doing very well coached, playing some good football this year. Thank you guys for watching. Should there be some news that breaks this weekend, we will be there and bring it to you. Hopefully we will have a quiet weekend. Of course, we do have a full moon tonight. It's also Friday the 13th. And even though Friday the 13th will officially end here in about 45 minutes, these things sometimes have lingering effects for the medical personnel, law enforcement, EMTs, all of our first responders. For all practical purposes, Friday the 13th will continue until daybreak. So there could be some crazy stuff yet to happen tonight. Let's hope it doesn't. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, Trojans winners tonight, 56-0 over JP Taravella High School out of the Miami, Florida area. We will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Remember, it's still Friday the 13th. It's still a full moon. Be careful. Watch yourself. Might be a long night. See you next time.